Hello guys, my name is Carlos. Welcome to How It's Coded series. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to implement PayPal payment with NodeJs, and I will be using Ionic as my client side, but I'll just be focused on Node.js with the payment, so I'm not going to show you from scratch on how to create the app and make the request, but it's gonna look something like this. So for example, if I put $54, make payment, it's redirected to the PayPal. Let's just wait while it's loading. Okay, so there you go. This is your PayPal. So you have to log in. Once you log in, then you authorize for the payment, and then you execute the payment. Takes a while, my internet is also a bit slow, so sorry about that. So there you go. Once you continue, then that means you have authorized the payment, and then you're going to be redirected back to your application once the payment is successful. So there you go. 3 steps, your payment is completed, and then you are back to the app. So let's go to the code, guys. I'm gonna show you, but before that, there's just some things that we need. So go to your PayPal developer account. If you don't have one, create one. It's very simple. So once you log into your developer account, this is what you're gonna be presented with. So I already have 2 projects here that I created before, but you can just go ahead and create app. Click on this button, create a new one. You put the name on, and then you're gonna be presented with your app keys. So what I mean is, I have already created one, so I'm just gonna open it, and then you're gonna be given this, your client ID and your client secret. So these are the 2 things that you're going to need in order to be able to connect your PayPal. So let's just go ahead to our code, Node.js. Okay, so I have a basic server with me. It's just a basic setup for the server side, I mean, if you're already familiar, I'm expecting that you're already familiar with Node.js, so this is not going to be any headache for you. So let me just go ahead and test this out. Okay, so if I just say node payment, server running on port 3000. Okay, so if we go now to our localhost 3000, there you go, hello world. So we know our server is running. So let's just go jump to the code quickly. If you go to the documentation, right, we have on GitHub the code for the PayPal. So just go to this link right here, PayPal Node SDK. Even if you Google it, it's gonna appear there. So you need to install this. This is the module that you need to install in order to use PayPal. So let's go ahead and install this. I was working on a project similar to this to make a payment with PayPal 3 to 4 weeks ago, and I decided I'm gonna make a video about it because the code can be just all over, and then it might some of you guys might find it difficult to put everything together and like the entire process from a mobile application. So next we need to import it in our Node.js. So let's just go ahead and do it. Okay, so just say constant PayPal require. Should do this after you have installed the module, otherwise it's not going to work. It's going to give you an error. So it's just going to say PayPal So now we are ready to use the code that is provided here. So if we come back here, we have this. This is the configuration we need. So I just go ahead and copy paste this. We can even come just remove this here for now and just paste our configuration. Now this is gonna be your client ID and this your client secret. Okay, so go to your PayPal developer account, copy this, your client ID. Okay, oh sorry, paste it right there. It should be a different one because this is the one for another account. So your client ID, go ahead and paste your client secret. There you go. So for us to test this out, let's create a function that we're gonna call, and we're gonna pass the value, in this case the amount that we're gonna be using. So I'll just go ahead and say app.get. Okay. Okay, let's instead make a post because we're gonna be passing a value. So there are three things that we do. First, we have to create payment. We create the payment, which we just initialize our object with the information that we pass, information like description, the amount, and all that, and even the currency if you like. So let's go ahead and do that. If we go here, we'll find the code there. So if you go down here, create payment. So we put this inside our function. Okay, so just write in here, put that in there. Okay, so we already have a function here. Now we're going to substitute some values here so that it can work for us. First thing, we want to change this URL, otherwise it won't return anything or it won't redirect at all. So we want to say this localhost. This is what happens after the creation of the payment was successful. It's going to be redirected to your localhost 3000, and let's just say in this case execute payment. And then for the cancel, we do the same thing. Localhost 3000, cancel payment. Sorry. And then another thing, what we need is we want to get this, the amount that we are sending. So we're going to change this one as well, so that we can get it from our request using the body parser. So we just go ahead and something that we need to do, since we are going to require this amount even in another function. So we just create a global variable. Go ahead and say app dot. By the way, this is how you can create one. I just create like global amount for now is equal to 0. So we come here and we say app dot global amount is equal to request dot body dot amount. Now this amount here, we are going to get it from our client, which is the Ionic application. Okay, so another thing, we're going to have to change that here. So we just come to our price let's say now make it equal to request dot body dot amount, and down here as well request dot body dot amount. So here you can put any description that you like. I'm not going to change that. And once this object has been created, this create payment JSON is going to be passed to the default function of the PayPal library to create the payment. And once this payment is created successfully, it's going to be redirected to execute payment once the authorization took place. So let's just go ahead and test this out for now. See if we can get any response, because we see here that we log the payment. So just go ahead and try that for now. But we need to pass this value. Okay. So let's comment this out. Okay, let's comment this out. And let's just say that no, let's leave it like that. So if we go to our app, we'll see that we'll be requesting using this address here, because I'm using the server on a different, I'm using the client on my phone. So yeah, let's just go ahead and change that. Let's copy this. These links should be the same, otherwise it's not going to access your server at all after the payment has been created. So okay, let's try that out. Let's come down here. Let's say node payment server running. Let's go to our app. Okay, so just try and make, say for example 54. Okay, so look at this, guys. We have an object. Okay, it even says here create payment response with an object of a lot of details and our redirect link that we are going to use to execute the payment. Now this link is what we need after the payment has been created. We need this link in order to execute the payment. So we go to our application side. As you can see, we take that data because that data has been sent to our client side, and then we just retrieve the link. If you can see here, we have links, and then we have href, and then the links is an array, so you take it from from position 1. That's why you see here data.links inside 1, so that you can get the right link for it to be redirected. So it's using an app browser within the application. So if let's just cancel this, it's not going to do anything now because we didn't call any redirect link. So let's just go ahead and finalize our program here so that you guys can see the full transaction. So after this, we need a few more stuff, so I'm going to show you guys now. We need an execute payment. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. Let's just close my server. Let's go and get the code from GitHub. We also have the code here. If we go inside this folder, there's samples, and payment maybe. Okay, go to execute.js. So after you created your object to create the transaction with your details, this is what happens. Execute payment. Okay, so you need to create another object which is execute payment JSON, with the currency, and then you're gonna retrieve that payment ID that you get from your return object, and then you're gonna use this to execute the payment. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go down here. So once this is done, it's gonna redirect you to this function, execute payment. So this is what we need right now. We need that function. So we're just gonna create it right here. Get, just say execute payment. There we go. And then we can just go ahead and paste that inside. So what are the things that we need here? Guys, we need this, the payment ID, and we need the payer ID. Now these are all in the redirected in the link that it was redirected to us. So we want to get this from that link. So let me go ahead and show you guys one more time. Payment. Let's go ahead and fetch that link. So if we say 45, make payment, Swift. Okay, so let's just wait while it's making the request. There we go. Now this link here is our redirect link. So let's copy this and then go to our browser so that we see what is returned. Okay, so with that link we are redirected to PayPal. Now here is where you're going to be using your account. So you're going to create another account as your client, and then you're going to use it to make the payment, to simulate the payment. So I already have this one created. Actually it's not this one, let me just change that. I believe it's this one. Okay, go ahead and put the password and log in. There you go. Once you're logged in, if you press continue, you're approving this transaction. So you press continue, and then you're going to be redirected with this. Now this is what we need. This is going to go to execute payment, and then we're going to take this, the payment ID and the payer ID as well. Okay, but how do we get this? There is a method that we can use to get this. So we are looking for payer ID and payment ID. So let's go to our function. Let's close this. Let's go to a function where we execute payment, and then we retrieve from that link using the request.query. Okay, not request.body, we use request.query. So let's just say, for example, variable payment ID is equal to request.query dot payment ID. And then the next one is the payer ID. So let's just go ahead and say payer ID request.query dot payer ID. So actually it's like this. So pay attention, guys, to the link for these values, because they need to be exactly the same so that you can get that payment ID and your payer ID. So you just go ahead now, modify this with your global variable, which is your amount. Yes, and then paste this here, the payer ID you put it here. There you go. And then your payment ID, you put it down here. There you go. Okay, let me just do this, just so it's not exactly the same. Okay. So now those are the values that you need, and then that you're going to be passing when you're executing the payment. And after that, you're going to see whether the payment was successful or not. So let me just remove this. It's not needed since it's an object. Okay, so we have that already. So we have our execute function. So let's just create another function for the cancel, just in case. Just say cancel payment. And just say response to send transaction cancel for now. You just leave it like that for now. We're interested in executing our transaction successfully, so let's focus on this side. So let's go ahead and try that. So just remember, guys, is these steps that we need to know so we can put it together. Okay, you first create the payment. Once the payment is successful, it's redirected to this link. You go to this link and then you retrieve from the parameters that they send the payment ID and the payer ID, so that you can execute the payment successfully. Let's go ahead and try that out. Okay guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and try this. I had to pause the video quickly, but yeah, let's take it on from here. I just modified few things. I changed this back to localhost, and yeah, that's basically it. So I moved the Ionic app also to the browser, so we can test it from there. So let's go ahead and open this on the command prompt, the server side, and from here we're just gonna do node payment, which is our server. Server is up and running. So if we go now to, by the way, this is the Ionic app. It's also running on the background, so let's go ahead and refresh this and try to simulate the payment. So let's say, for example, $35. Okay, just wait a bit. There we go. It goes to our PayPal account for the checkout. PayPal. So once you put the amount, it's gonna redirect you to the PayPal. From there you can just log into your PayPal account. Hold on. Oh damn, sorry. Okay, log in. It's processing. Once you logged in, if you're already logged in, the process will not take this long. You just go straight to approving the transaction. So once you are at this point, you should already get a result here. This is when you created the payment. This is when you selected your amount and you requested for payment, and then after it's redirected here. When you approve this and continue, it's going to take you to your execute payment method. That's where your payer ID and payment ID values are going to be transferred. So here we go. This shows that the payment was successful. When if you come here, also comes the details of the payment. For example, if you see get payment response, you get this object with a lot of details that you can find productive.
later. Yeah, but that's about it. Your payment is successful, and you can always choose. You can always choose what it will do. It will return to the app automatically. It will load the website or anything like that. But as you can see, it says your payment was completed. To continue shopping, please return to the merchant. So this is where you actually make your app like after the payment is successful, it will return to your application or to your website and yeah, inform that it was successful, and then the user can continue shopping or doing some other tasks. So but that's basically it, guys, just for you to have an understanding of how this works. It's not so complicated. It's just how to put it together from the the code that was provided on the website, how you can put it together. So just a revision on what we did. You have the paypal.configure. You install on your Node.js the PayPal REST SDK module. You require it here. Require that module. Then use the paypal.configure to put on your client ID and client secret. As from the beginning I showed you how to do that. Yes, and then you have your create payment function, where you're going to copy and paste from the code that was provided this variable create payment JSON and this function here from the library where you actually create the payment. Once that is done, it's going to redirect you to execute payment, and this side here is where the payment takes place. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do subscribe to my channel. I'm just starting. This is actually my first video. I worked on a project that I had to do this payment with PayPal, so I thought I would share